What happens all the time with anti-Muslim hatred is projection. So, for example,
I'm not
the Israelis talking about Muslims rape.
I like Muslims who like me. I don't like Islam.
Hold on. Shut up. Shut up. Hey, bigot.
You shut up.
Shut up.
You shut
your mouth.
What you gonna do?
Okay.
What you gonna do?
So, no, it's my question. It's my question. Okay? So this bigot comes on here and makes up this fantasy he has in his head about Muslims raping white women because he wants to rape women and he thinks that's a fun thing to do, so he projects it on the Muslims
I can't,
if they would want to do it. That's because he's a sick.
Cenk. I'm sorry. No, hang on, Don.
Rape fantasy.
Cenk, you cannot say that. I'm sorry. There is absolutely no evidence that Don Keith wants to rape people. Right? And let's be clear about...
Well, there's no evidence that Muslims want to do it either, but he just made it up.
No, he hasn't made it up. I would argue there's an exaggeration there.
Tommy Robinson's friend brings up uncomfortable statistics as the guy from the Young Turks crashes out. And Piers Morgan has to calm him down because he went too far. This panel perfectly exposes what is wrong with the immigration debate in the UK right now.
Do you believe that Muslims should be allowed in the UK Parliament?
Problem with Muslims in Parliament is Islam itself and what it commands of Muslims. They must always make policies and legislation to protect Islam. It's Islam first and foremost. It's never a separation of church and state.
Well, they couldn't do that as part of the UK Parliament because they'd be subjected to UK law. So that's an irrelevance.
Well, they would do their damnedest to try. If you look at what's happening now, you don't even really need Muslim members in Parliament to make change in your country. If you see what's happening all around your country, you don't even need Muslim members in Parliament. All you need is key figures in local suburbs in and around London, city councils, mayors, people who can affect change locally, and by caveat, you can affect an entire nation.
There is a weird mischaracterization, I believe, of my country, right? Which is that we're being overrun and overtaken by Muslims. Sharia courts are everywhere. They're ruling the roost and so on. None of this is actually true. Right? I mean,
you've got about 85 Sharia courts.
But they have no legal standing in the
I know you were
UK.
going to say that. They do not have legal standing per se. However, if you are a young woman, no, it's not full stop. If you are a young woman in Islam, if you are a young woman, you are forced to adhere to the decisions these courts make within your religion. If not, then you will be castigated by your family and ostracized by your family. You could be even subject to things like honor killings, depending on the situation. There have been young ladies in Britain and other Western countries. You can shake your head all you want, but it's happened. A father recently tried to strangle his daughter in an honor killing in, I can't remember which Western country it was, but when these girls don't adhere to these laws or these decisions by these Sharia courts, and they could be subject to penalties within their own family. So while it may not be legal in the UK's eyes, these young girls are pressured by these courts, and it's them, as we know, Islam doesn't care about women.
Your view would apply to any religion where the religious belief leads to any form of intimidation or harassment or violence towards women, for example?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. I do believe in protecting women. I believe in protecting any fragile human being. That's why I'm anti-abortion. That's why I'm pro-life. I think women, I think children, I think unborn babies should be protected to whatever extremes necessary.
There's no Muslim takeover. The game won't be stopped halfway through because the Muslims have decided in a Sharia court that we're not allowed to play. This is all horseshit. Cenk, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's fine. 250,000 of your women are being raped by Muslim, but it's okay.
Again,
it's fine.
Utterly ridiculous statement.
Go to Birmingham, go to Manchester.
Utterly ridiculous statement.
As
I've said repeatedly, the vast majority of sexual crime against women in the UK.
Lord Malcolm Pearson in Parliament.
Don Keith, the vast majority of sexual crime against women in my country is committed by white men.
Oh, here we go. You've never heard of per capita.
I have heard of per capita.
It's disproportionately committed by Muslims against white Christian girls because it's a rape genocide.
Right, let me bring Cenk in.
Muslims are a tiny, tiny minority. So the reason why people push that forward is because they want people to hate Muslims. Now, why do they want people to hate Muslims? How come there's no propaganda against Buddhists or Hindus, right? And please don't start it. Yeah, I don't want propaganda against anyone. But the reason why there's overwhelming propaganda against Muslims in the West, it's not about religion, guys. Buddhists do it, Jews do it, Muslims do it, Christians do it. There's people who abuse other folks all across the world from all the different religions. So you can insult everybody's religion if you want, but the most important part is, why are they doing this? And there's a politics behind it. In fact, there's people paying for it. The Israelis pay people in the UK and the US to spread hatred towards Muslims so that the UK and the US will finance Israel and their war crimes.
But the difference in, as I see it, and all these things you're pointing out about the different religions, there's a reason why we don't see almost no Muslim girls in the rape statistics in Britain, is because it's a religiously motivated rape jihad against Christians by these predominantly Pakistani Muslim men. You don't find the white men, you don't find the white men in Britain raping Muslim girls as some sort of religious targeting, because the reason they don't rape their own girls is because that would be haram. So they go outside of their religion because that's considered all right, because we know what the Quran says about sex slaves and all those things outside your religion. It's just made up.
This is just
made up.
Well, let me bring Ava Santina back in. Let me bring Ava
fantasies
Santina back in here.
In your mind, you probably want to do it. That's why you put it. You project it
that
onto
is so
Muslims because your sick
You're an
mind
idiot.
thinks that that's
You're
a
an
fun
idiot.
thing to do.
Disgusting.
You're an
We don't
idiot.
think that's
You're
a
an
fun
idiot.
thing to do. You think it's
You're
a
an
fun thing to
idiot.
do because you're a sick
disgusting.
individual.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
What was it?
Oh wow, that was an effective.
Well, I'm
argument.
sorry, I missed what you said, Cenk. What did you say?
Yours was super effective too.
Cenk, what was the point you made?
So what happens? Hold on. What happens all the time with anti-Muslim hatred is projection. So, for example,
I'm not
the Israelis talking
anti-Muslim.
about Muslims
I like
hold
Muslims
on,
who like
hold
me.
on,
I don't like
hold
Islam.
on. Shut up. Hey, bigot.
You shut up.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Shut your mouth.
What you gonna do?
Okay.
What you gonna do?
So no, it's my question. Okay? So this bigot comes on here and makes up this fantasy he has in his head about Muslims raping white women because he wants to rape women and he thinks that's a fun thing to do, so he projects it onto Muslims
Cenk, I
as
can't.
if they
No,
would want to
Cenk.
do
But
it.
you never
That's
raped
because
a
he's a
woman.
sick
Cenk. I'm sorry. No, hang on, Don.
Rape fantasy.
Cenk, you cannot say that. I'm sorry. There is absolutely no evidence that Don Keith wants to rape people. Right? And let's be clear
Thank you.
about.
Well, there's no evidence that Muslims want to do it either, but he just made it up.
No, he hasn't made it up. I would argue there's an exaggeration there for this reason. There was a clear.
Then I'm exaggerating. Maybe he wants to rape adult women.
No,
I don't
think
know.
he wants to.
Just adult women.
He's given no
maybe it's others.
indication he wants to rape any women, right? So
Maybe
I
you
think
wanna
that's an
rape a goat.
outrageous thing to say. And what I would say about the point he's making.
Oh, it's an outrageous thing to say about him, but it's not outrageous to say about all Muslims?
No, but the point.
No, it's much more outrageous to say it about
what
all
is-
Muslims.
what
The
is-
only reason you
I
would
didn't say
think it
all
is if
Muslims.
it's a fantasy in
I
your
didn't
head.
say all
Yeah,
Muslims.
Don, you think about it all the
didn't
time,
say-
don't you?
It's not my statistic. It's it's the British government statistic. 250,000 plus girls in the last 25 years have been raped by predominantly Pakistani Muslim men. That was Lord Malcolm Pearson in the House of Lords who said that.
You did that with, as Piers said, with white Christians, you would have a number that is so much higher. But they don't say
they
that,
would
and
be
I wouldn't
raping
say
white
that. Does that mean all
Christians.
white Christians do it? Of course not. Of course not. But these guys who want to spread hatred, they go and cherry pick numbers, which are much, much worse for the native born or for white Christians. But we don't cherry pick numbers like that to blame white Christians because that's insane. If you're a white Christian, you're not responsible for the act of some stupid rapist.
So many people are waking up to the disaster of mass immigration. The only people still in denial are detached from reality leftists who never interact with the public. Go to work on public transport sometime, and you'll see a guy half-conscious, blasting a speaker at full volume, while everyone looks at each other nervously, unsure what this unstable individual will do next. The moment Tommy Robinson's friends started bringing up uncomfortable statistics and the reality of what's happening in British towns, the guy from the Young Turks completely lost his mind. He didn't even try to debate the numbers. He just started screaming, calling people bigots, and making wild accusations. The UK government's own reports confirmed that the vast majority of these perpetrators were Pakistani Muslim men. It's only going to get worse when someone like that is banned from a country for expressing an opinion, while they keep bringing in more people from extremely different cultures. Leftist denial won't protect you on the streets or on public transport, but they don't care, as long as they can ride their high horse calling people racists.